to the idea that there was a loud bang. If you take a look there, so that's probably why the evacuation happened. Maybe because of a precautionary. However, either way, there was something there. So it's either a bomb threat or it was just some idiot leaving his car unattended. And whilst we are live here now as well, we're starting to, of course, hear that this has now been resolved. So those images have confirmed the situation, but again, the train station does seemingly look like it has reopened, which is good in itself. But yeah, I mean, one of those interesting situations there where an unattended...
Well, there you go. This is GB News Originals. I'm Emily Carver. Please do give this video a like and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. And do leave a comment. Let me know what you think.
Vehicle is left there. Now, why would this... obviously, it seemingly looks precautionary, but why on earth would the loud bang and the sort of bomb squad be near and about? So why would the images of the vehicle look like that where the car is completely destroyed? What is wrong with people? I don't get it. I'm interested to know down there in the live chat what you make of that image and, of course, what's being said with regard to this loud bang. Was it a hoax? I mean, why was the EOD equipment even coming out in the first place? I'm not so sure. But yeah, that seems...
Chaos at St. Pancras, a car bomb scare, a nation on edge, and the question no one in Westminster wants to answer. Is Rupert Lowe the only one telling the truth? There are moments in this country when the ordinary rhythm of life stops dead in its tracks. A train station, thousands of commuters, tourists dragging suitcases toward Eurostar platforms. And then, without warning, blue lights, cordons, and a single word that sends a chill down every spine in earshot. Bomb. That is exactly what happened this week at St. Pancras International, one of the beating hearts of London's transport network. And before we get into what it means, who's talking about it, and why one particular politician's name keeps surfacing in the conversation around it, welcome back to Britain Underneath. If you're new here, this is the channel that doesn't do spin, doesn't do sugarcoating, and doesn't do polite silence when something needs saying. So do yourself a favour, hit that subscribe button right now, because what we're about to unpack today is the kind of story the mainstream will bury in 48 hours, and you don't want to miss what comes next. Let's dive in.
To the idea that there was a loud bang. If you take a look there, so that's probably why the evacuation happened. Maybe because of a precautionary. However, either way, there was something there. So it's either a bomb threat or it was just some idiot leaving his car unattended. And whilst we are live here now as well, we're starting to, of course, hear that this has now been resolved. So those images have confirmed the situation, but again, the train station does seemingly look like it has reopened, which is good in itself. But yeah, I mean, one of those interesting situations there where an unattended vehicle is left there. Now, why would this, obviously it seemingly looks precautionary, but why on earth would the loud bang and the sort of bomb squad be near and about? So why would the images of the vehicle look like that where the car is completely destroyed? What is wrong with people? I don't get it. I'm interested to know down there in the live chat what you make of that image and, of course, what's being said with regard to this loud bang. Was it a hoax? I mean, why was the EOD equipment even coming out in the first place? I'm not so sure. But yeah, that...
Tuesday afternoon, St. Pancras Station, one of the busiest and most iconic rail hubs in the whole of Europe, briefly evacuated. A silver car, parked and unattended, bonnet up, visible damage to the rear. Armed police, a bomb disposal unit, a controlled explosion carried out right there in central London, meters from thousands of ordinary people simply trying to get from A to B. Transport for London confirmed the main and north entrances at King's Cross St Pancras tube station were shut at the request of the Metropolitan Police. Within around 15 minutes, the station had reopened. Eurostar, to their credit, kept things moving. No delays, no disruption to services heading out to Paris, Brussels, Amsterdam. And by mid-afternoon, the police had made their determination. The incident was, in their words, non-suspicious. Non-suspicious. Let that phrase sit with you for a second. Because here's the thing about this country in the year 2026. We have become so accustomed, so numbed, so trained to hear controlled explosion and central London in the same sentence that most people scrolled past that headline without blinking. 15 minutes of disruption, a quick statement, a shrug, back to the group chat about the football scores. And maybe, just maybe, that's exactly how it should be. Professional police work, a swift and measured response. No panic, no chaos. The system functioning as it should. That's one way of looking at it, and it's a fair one. But here's the uncomfortable question Britain underneath exists to ask. The one nobody in a suit on the 6 o'clock news wants to sit with for longer than a soundbite allows. How did we get to a place where a car with its bonnet popped and its boot blown out, sitting outside one of the most symbolically significant transport hubs in the country, barely makes a ripple in the national conversation? 15 years ago, an incident like this would have dominated headlines for a week. Today, it's a Tuesday. And before you go any further, pause this video, take a breath, and if you haven't already, subscribe to Britain Underneath. Because what I'm about to say next is where this story stops being about one car and starts being about something much bigger. This is where a familiar name re-enters the frame. Rupert Lowe. Love him or loathe him, and this country is deeply, almost violently split on that question. The man has built an entire political identity around asking the questions polite society would rather leave unasked. Questions about security, questions about who gets to feel safe in their own capital city, questions about whether the institutions meant to protect ordinary British people are still fit for purpose, or whether they've become so bureaucratically cautious, so terrified of the headlines a wrong word might generate, that basic public reassurance has become a lost art. We are not here to tell you what to think about Rupert Lowe. That's not our job, and frankly, it's not our place. What we will say is this: incidents like St Pancras are precisely the fuel that keeps figures like him relevant, keeps his following growing, and keeps this uncomfortable national conversation alive, whether Westminster likes it or not. When the establishment says, "Move along, nothing to see here," and a growing chunk of the public increasingly doesn't buy it, that gap, that widening trust deficit, is where politicians like Lowe thrive. That's not opinion, that's political gravity. And here's where it gets properly interesting, because London hasn't exactly been short on reasons for that trust deficit to widen. Ask yourself honestly, when was the last time you felt fully at ease walking through a major transport hub in this city, without that small, nagging background hum of unease? That's not fear-mongering. That's not sensationalism. That's simply the emotional temperature of modern Britain, and pretending otherwise does nobody any favours. The police did their job on Tuesday, quickly, professionally, without unnecessary panic. That deserves genuine credit, and Britain Underneath will always give credit where it's due. But professionalism in crisis response is not the same thing as public confidence in the system that allowed the crisis to almost happen in the first place. Those are two very different things, And conflating them is exactly the kind of sleight of hand that keeps people switching off the news entirely. So where does that leave us? It leaves us with a station that reopened within 15 minutes, a rail service that didn't miss a beat, a police force that handled a genuinely frightening scenario with commendable speed, and a public that is increasingly, quietly, unshakably skeptical of the reassurances handed down from on high. It leaves us with politicians like Rupert Lowe, positioned not as fringe agitators, but as men saying out loud what an enormous number of ordinary British people are already whispering to each other at the school gates, in the pub, on the commute home. And it leaves us, here on this channel, with the job of connecting those dots when almost nobody else in the media landscape is willing to. Now listen, if you've made it this far, genuinely, thank you. That means something to us, and it means this channel is doing exactly what it's set out to do, cutting through the noise and giving you the version of events that actually respects your intelligence. But I need to ask you for something, and I'm not going to be shy about it. This channel survives because of you. Every subscribe, every notification turned on, every share to a mate who's sick of being talked down to by the news. That's what keeps Britain Underneath alive and growing. So if this video gave you even one moment of, finally, someone saying it, hit subscribe right now, ring that notification bell, and stay with us till the very end, because we've got more coming on this exact story as it develops, and trust me, you'll want to be here for it. Stay sharp, stay skeptical, stay informed, and above all, stay subscribed, because Britain's story doesn't stop here, and neither do we. We'll see you in the next one.